Last class we have discussed about enthalpy and the change in enthalpy formula. Today we will discuss about the change in enthalpy of a reaction. The change in enthalpy of a reaction is given by summation of the enthalpies of the products minus summation of the enthalpies of the reactants. For example, we will take calcium carbonate, which is decomposed to means broken down to calcium oxide plus carbon dioxide. Here carbon dioxide and calcium oxide are the products and the calcium carbonate is the reactant. This means that we have to sum up the enthalpy of the calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. From that we have to subtract the enthalpy of the calcium carbonate. So this I and this Bi are nothing but the coefficient. If a 2 was here supposed in order to balance the reaction, then this is A. The coefficient is designated as A. This is the symbol for summation. Summation means adding up, summing up. And delta H is the change in enthalpy when something is forming. Delta HF, formation. So here this is the change in enthalpy of calcium oxide and this is the change in enthalpy of carbon dioxide. So we have got the summation of the enthalpies of the two products minus enthalpy. Only one reactant is there, so we don't have to add it. We don't have any other value except the enthalpy of calcium carbonate. So we have to subtract the reactant side. Now the value of change in enthalpy of calcium oxide is minus 635.1. So one more important thing is that you don't have to remember the values. This will be provided in case you are asked to calculate the enthalpy for the reaction. Is it clear? So you don't have to remember this. This is just an example in order to show you, okay, what is the enthalpy reaction. Now delta F H naught of the reference state is always 0. So in the last class we have already discussed about reference state, and if you have any problem regarding this thing, you can always go back to that video and come back here again, okay? So reference state we have discussed very properly. I hope you have understood, and so I'm not going to explain it today again. So the enthalpy change of a reference state of a stable state is always 0, that is considered as 0. For example, if this was suppose H2, which is the reference state for hydrogen, and that value will be taken as 0 in case here. Since all these are having particular value, for a reference state this value is always 0. So this is the enthalpy change for a reference state. Next, Hess law of constant heat summation. So the statement is as follows, that if a reaction takes place in several steps, this means to say that if we can see that A is converting into the product B, this may not be a direct reaction. Instead, A may be converted to C first, C to D, then D to B. So the reaction may have several steps while converting from A to B. So let us go to the statement. If a reaction takes place in several steps, then its standard reaction enthalpy is the sum of the standard enthalpies of the intermediate reactions into which the overall reaction may be divided at the same temperature. It means that the total or the overall reaction enthalpy from A to B is equal to the sum of the enthalpies of the reaction A to C, C to D and D to B. So if the enthalpy change while A to B is occurring, then let us consider as delta RH1. If C is converting to D, the second step let us consider as H2. For the third step, let us consider as delta RH3. Then what will happen? We will take delta RH equal to delta RH1 plus delta RH2 plus delta RH3 and so on. Is it clear? So if a reaction is occurring in several steps, then the overall reaction enthalpy is equal to the sum of the enthalpies of the intermediate reactions. Next, enthalpy for types of reactions. Number one is standard enthalpy of combustion. Combustion means burning, okay, or reaction with oxygen. And whenever something is burning, you can always experience or feel the heat, isn't it? It means what? From that particular combustion or burning, heat is evolved. And whenever heat is evolved, that process is known as the exothermic reaction or exothermic process. Clear? So exothermic means heat is released, okay? So in that case, we will call that standard enthalpy of combustion, which is designated as delta CH naught. Clear? Now, for example, burning of butane in cooking gas cylinders. So in the gas cylinders, one gas is provided there, that is the butane gas, and how it is burnt while we lit a stove, how it is burnt. Let us consider the reaction here. Butane formula is C4H10. So 4 carbon is there and 10 hydrogens are there. So C4H10 plus oxygen will give us carbon dioxide plus water. In that case, you see here, this 13 by 2 is the coefficient, and this coefficient we have to put because we have to balance the reaction. So I think so you know how to balance the reaction, and if you have any problem, please tell me, okay? So this butane is reacting with oxygen in order to form carbon dioxide plus H2O. In order to balance this reaction, first you have to consider the oxygen, hydrogen, carbon, okay? So the number of oxygen, carbon, hydrogen this side is equal to the number of oxygen, carbon and hydrogen this side, okay? So individually you have to count and put it like that. It will come in fraction. Let us say that if 13 by 2 of oxygen, okay, so 13 oxygen should be present here. Then you count here, 4 into 2 is 8. 8 plus 5 oxygen, so here also it's 13. So this is balanced. So like that you have to know how to balance the reactions as well. And for this, the enthalpy of combustion is minus 2658 kilojoule per mole. Next comes enthalpy of atomization, which is designated as delta AH naught, okay? So this is the enthalpy of atomization. So whatever designation we put now, because you see for this also it's H, for this also H, right? In order to differentiate between this and this, we always have to give a name, a surname like. So for combustion it's C, for atomization it's A, for formation we put F. So these are nothing big deal. Next, let us see the examples here of atomization. Atomization means formation of atoms from a compound. So from hydrogen you can see one atom, okay? So this is one atom, but here you can see that there are 2 hydrogens. So in order to balance, we have to put a 2 before the hydrogen. And in enthalpy of atomization, remember, your product has to be in the gaseous state. Clear? Similarly for methane, how it is broken down, C plus 4, but here 4 hydrogen is there, so you have to put a 4 here. Similarly, sodium solid is converted to sodium gas. So these are the examples of atomization, and the values of atomization is given here. So these are positive values, and here you can see it is negative, right? So these are positive values means what? These are endothermic reaction, that is why enthalpy is positive here. We need to apply heat, right? We need to apply heat in order that the reactions occur, okay, for enthalpy of atomization. Another one is the third one, that is your bond enthalpy, okay, delta bond H naught. So bond enthalpies, you will get 2 types. One is your bond dissociation enthalpy. Dissociation means breaking down, dividing, okay? So bond dissociation enthalpy and mean bond enthalpy. Bond dissociation enthalpy, you see, so H2 means H, single bond H. So this is broken. What it will form? You will get 2 hydrogen atoms, right? If you break this molecule, HH molecule, you will get 2 hydrogen atoms, right? Similarly for Cl, this is the molecule, and if you break this molecule you will get one atom, two atoms, so two atoms of chlorine. Clear? And the enthalpies are given here. This is the bond dissociation enthalpy, and it is usually shown in examples where similar atoms are used. Is it clear? So H2, then Cl2. So these are what? Similar atoms. H is binding with H, Cl is binding with Cl. So these are similar atoms. Now what about the atoms when binded with different atoms? In that case, we will use the concept mean bond enthalpy. Mean means average. We have to take the average bond enthalpy. In this case, you can see CH4. The structure of methane is this. So, this, right? Here, you know that you have to break this bond, you have to break this, you have to break this and this as well. So in order to break all these bonds, one by one, it will take different values of energy. It will require different energies. So you have to take the average of all the energies. Now let us see how it takes place. So CH4 will give ultimately what? 1 carbon and 4 hydrogen atoms, right? So first of all, CH4 will break and it will release 1 hydrogen atom. Next, from the CH3, another hydrogen atom is released. You will get CH2. Again from CH2, if you release 1 hydrogen, you will get CH. Again, at last, you will get C. It means from CH4, 1 bond is broken. What is left? CH3. Again, in the next step, another bond is broken. CH2 is left, and in the third one, CH is left, and in the fourth one, all hydrogens are gone. After this has left, so at last carbon is left. And how many hydrogen you have released? Total 4 hydrogens. Is it clear? And while breaking each hydrogen, you will get different values. You will require different energies in order to break them. Therefore all these are positive. You need to apply heat, you need to apply energy. Okay, so all these are positive and all these have different values, right? So we are not going to memorize the values here, we'll just use the example here. Okay, now if you sum up all this, what you will get? All this will go in the left hand side and all this will come in the left hand side. In the, suppose you consider x plus y equal to x plus z. This x and x can get cancelled, right? Because there is no value. Because if you do here, x plus y plus x is there, and if you bring the x this side, equal to z, so this will ultimately become 0 now, so we can cancel that. Okay, so similarly here you see this CH3 can be cancelled with this CH3, because this CH3 will come this side and this will come this side. Similarly I can cancel this and this, CH and CH. What is left? CH4, right? In the left hand side CH4, to your right hand side 1 carbon is left and 4 hydrogen is left. Okay, so this is correct. Now since we have to take the average, how we take an average? We have to add up all the numbers divided by total numbers, isn't it? Suppose I'm considering here 3 numbers, that is your 3, 5 and 10, and I need to take out the average of 3, 5 and 10. Okay, so what I will do, I will sum up all this and divide it by the total number of values. How many values? Total 1, 2, 3 values is there, right? Similarly here also I will add all the enthalpies divided by the number of enthalpies, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so 4 enthalpies I will get. If I add all these, I will get 1665, and the average I will take what? Divided by 4, because here you see 4 bonds were there, no, and 4 values are also there, so divided by 4 you will get 416 kilojoule per mole. So this is about the mean bond enthalpy, and mean bond enthalpy is usually calculated when one atom is binded with the various number of atoms. In that case you have to take the average, because you cannot calculate the enthalpy based on only one bond. Here you will get many bonds and you have to calculate all these bond enthalpies, so that you can take an average. Is it clear?